time to present Scott duPont to bring you another episode of Finance Your Movie with tips and strategies to help you get your money to tell your story. It's time!
Okay, I am here with PJ Marks, real estate investor, entrepreneur, drone operator, damn good one. And you might have seen PJ on Bravo's Millionaire Matchmaker, but the reason we're here with PJ today, and you will see him in the movie, but he is also the executive producer of Movie Money Confidential. Welcome, PJ.
Thanks, Scott. How's it going?
Fantastic. And I say this all the time, but I've told you a few times, but really, without you and Parker, this movie never would have happened. So very, very grateful for you stepping up in a big way. And I think what will be helpful for our Finance Your Movie audience, really just to kind of go through the beats exactly. And if I'm off on the story a little bit, you can chime in how this all happened.
As far as I remember, it started on Facebook. I can't remember if I made a post or you just saw that I was investing in different things, and we got in touch and you started talking about this movie, and it made a lot of sense to me. And I'd done a lot of work in production, but I'd never actually financed anything. So I started asking a lot of questions, and you had a lot of answers.
Yeah, so that was basically it. I'm going through we were about maybe 25 or 30% financed, money in escrow, and literally on your Facebook post. And this is kind of interesting. I want to share this. I don't think we had spoken for about 25 years. I mean, we were water skiing buddies back in the college days, and we had kept in touch.
I don't know if we call it buddies. We were rivals, right?
Yeah.
Rollins and UCF.
Yeah. But you know, we were friends.
Yeah, it had been a while.
It had been a while. And yeah, I think I DM'd you on Facebook, said, hey, PJ, been a while. I see you do some investing. Would you like to take a look at the business plan? That's basically as short and sweet as it is. And I encourage people.
Yep. And when you told me the premise, I said, yeah, that sounds like me, actually. I think part of the way it went down too was I started telling you a story about my wakeboarding DVD that I did, how it was one of the best investments I'd ever made, especially compared to this wakeboard camp, which was, boats and people and
lots and lots of gasoline.
And, oh my God, it was just the logistics of it were crazy. And then, everyone kept saying, oh, you got to make this wakeboarding DVD. You got to put this stuff down on, well, at the time, it would, people were saying, oh, you got to put this down on tape. You got to put this. So finally, everything, the planets aligned, and it all came together. And a couple of friends of mine had gone to film school at Full Sail. And I contacted them. I said, hey, if you guys do the work, I'll put up the money. And we did. And it sold like crazy.
That was a pretty fascinating story. So you had this idea, if people were going to invest in a pretty expensive sport, like getting a wakeboard, the actual boat, finding the time and travel, that they would probably buy a $20 or $30 DVD that you put together, like, hey, here's everything you need A to Z to learn how to wakeboard, right?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because it wasn't $20 or $30. It was $100. It was 5 discs. It was like almost 9 hours of content. Everyone said, you're crazy. No one's going to buy that. And, we all thought to ourselves, wait a second, spending 50 grand on a boat, you got to have a truck to pull it with. You got to buy all this equipment, the boards, the ropes, the vests, the wetsuits, the gloves. Then you're on your way out and you see this thing that says, hey, learn how to use all this stuff for $100. Who's not going to throw down $100 to learn how to use, all that equipment you just bought?
Yeah,
and they did.
I mean,
it was extremely successful.
You filled a niche, and a lot of people obviously bought it. Do you remember the return on investment that gave you, roughly?
Well, so I put 25 grand down for the first run of DVDs, and my partners put in a year each of part-time work, which I valued at 25. So there were 3 of us. So depending on how you want to look at it, 25 or 75 grand, and we grossed, I think, somewhere around 900,000 over a 5 or 6 year period.
Wow. Almost $1 million. Wow.
It was, compared to the wakeboard camp itself, I think we might have netted 5 or 10% on the wakeboard camp itself, and I think this thing netted like 60%. And you do the work, and then you just keep collecting chats.
Yeah, the residuals. So
Yes.
we're at this point, PJ, you and me, we're like tied to the hip. We're at the point where we don't have a single penny coming in yet, but I feel pretty
True.
good because Louise Levinson's book, Filmmakers and Financing, that Movie Money Confidential was inspired by. There's a lot of people out there that are probably going to want to click or get the DVD and learn a few secrets, tips, get inspired and empowered to make their own movie.
Yeah, sure. I hope there's some parallels, right? That, people go to film school and they spend, I don't know, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever going to school. And then for another, few bucks, you can learn how to finance a film. Seems like a good deal to me. I haven't seen much other information about how to finance a film. So hopefully this fills another niche.
Yeah, I believe, well, we both do because we both got a lot invested in it. So you came in pretty heavy. You came in for 6 figures as an investment.
Heavy.
And then I think 15 or 20K, something like that, also on a credit card. We bought some of that camera gear and stuff like that.
Yep.
So what was your experience? Because this is really the first time you invested in someone else's project. Were there any bumps on the road? I want to try to be as open and transparent for our audience so that
you sure about that?
Yeah. No, I want this to be helpful for the people on our podcast, because there are bumps in the road. Obviously, was there a turning point where you felt really, really good?
Well, I wasn't happy with some of the director's choices, including, being told that I was going to be the star of the ending of the movie, and that never happened.
But that happens. That happens with every movie, and we got into some discussions as well, and I didn't always agree with the director or even the other producers, but it's a team effort, and I'm really proud of the film that he put together. I'm really proud of John and Eddie and the Think Visual Group team.
Those guys, I've never seen such hardworking, professional, and boy, they made everything look so amazing. Like you remember when we met with them, and I was just like, those are the guys, no question. I loved them from the start. I knew they were solid, and yeah, I would love to work with them again. I'm actually just came up with an idea for another project that I'll have to throw by you here pretty soon. I know you're busy, but hopefully those guys have some time.
Yeah, and if you remember, that was the first time I met Think Visual Group, because Rick, our director, said, "Hey, I found these guys. These guys are the perfect guys." And I said, "Oh, I don't really know them," so I got to meet them literally the same time that you met them.
Right.
So
well, again, it all came down to just asking questions, and they had all the answers again, and they were not bullshitters in the least. They, if anything, they undersold themselves, because the quality of this movie is phenomenal. And again, the work they put in, again, just incredible. It's just such hardworking guys and good guys.
Yeah. So obviously we have a distribution deal now. It was a little crazy time during the pandemic. We're going to be bringing in some kind of money very soon. I mean, we can't promise how much, how soon, but you're feeling pretty good. You're literally thinking about another movie in the near future.
Well, I just came across this topic, and it's really unique and really interesting. No one knows anything about this world. It's actually hang gliding, and it's such a niche thing. I saw a number the other day. There's only 12,000 hang gliding pilots in the world, but it's such an interesting topic. When you talk to the guys who actually created the sport, that are still alive and can tell you the stories about how they
Still alive.
out how to tow a hang glider up into the sky. It's actually really interesting stuff.
So let me that kind of fits a parallel of the book, the wakeboarding DVD, because you've got people that are
Yep.
investing a lot of money. They're passionate about that, and they probably, I don't know if it's going to be more informational or even if it's just a kind of a story you tell about the history of it. I would be fascinated to watch it because I have an interest in that, even though I haven't done it.
Right. There's actually just this main guy, I guess I could say his name, Bobby Bailey. He designed this airplane that pulls hang gliders, and they built 150 of them, and they're all over the world. And this guy's out in Groveland, Florida, and I fly with him every day. I'm actually training to learn how to fly the plane now, and the guy's just a phenomenal pilot. He's probably got 30 or 40,000 hours in this airplane. I've never seen anything like it. Like it's a part of him, and I think just the story about him and how the plane came to be, and the guy's just very interesting. He's a genius.
Cool. Getting back to the film financing thing, I think it's a great idea. I wish you all the best on that. Any advice you have for people just getting out of film school right now, or somebody who's trying to raise money for their first or second film? Obviously, by the time I approached you on Facebook, I had the business plan together. We had Rick attached as the director and his credentials. Think Visual Group was in there. We had a little reference that it was all going to be based on this best-selling book. So we had a business plan. We had the team in place. That should go without saying. You need to kind of get your foundation built. But any other advice for filmmakers in the actual reaching out process to people like you, talking to potential investors?
I'd say, with all the cameras, I mean, you've got a 4K camera on your iPhone, and you can get, handheld gimbals, and there's so much equipment. I'd say just start shooting stuff and so start editing yourself, and prove that you can make something, because anyone can just go, hey, I got this idea, but how are you going to put it together? You got to have the experience. I'd say start making stuff low budget on your own, even if it's just a short film, and then build a track record, and then go out and start asking for investors. Because if someone comes to me, it's like, what have you done before? I remember asking you, and you had done a bunch of films. If you had said to me, oh, well, this is my first project, I think that would have been the end of it right there.
Yeah, and I think shorts are, if they're done very well, are a valid proof of concept. I think if you have a music video that has 10 million views and that gets some traction, that's a
Sure.
proof of concept.
Yeah, I guess just says, know what you're talking about, because you're going to get a lot of questions. There's a lot of liars out there. Watching Inventing Anna on Netflix right now. I mean, you look at the scams that people pull and the Ponzi schemes. Didn't some other guy just get some Hollywood guy get arrested for some enormous Ponzi scheme? I mean, I guess really it's from my perspective, I'm going to do my due diligence, and I want to know that people know what they're doing before I get involved, and know that they're legit, and talk to previous investors if there are any. Really just do your homework.
Let me ask you this question. Obviously, we hadn't talked for about 25 years, but we had some kind of connection, 25 years ago during the water skiing days, and then we had kept in touch. Did that have was that a helpful kind of connection thing? And like, hey, I'm going to listen to Scott open-minded, or would you be just as comfortable with a complete stranger if they had a killer business plan?
No, not anyone can write a business plan. Knowing you definitely made a difference, and just having that last name was key. I'm joking. Yeah, I mean, listen, establishing relationships with people is key, and you want to work with people you've worked with before. And we hadn't worked together, but you had sent me the links to the movies that you had done before, and I think I talked to a couple of investors that you had worked with before. Again, it's just it's as risky as this kind of investment is, you want to lower that risk as much as you can by doing your homework and finding out that people are legit.
Excellent. I was going to ask the best way to follow you. You're not too busy on social media. Any other way that people could reach out to you, or any business ventures you want to talk about in the wrapping up segment here?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. on Instagram, but I rarely go on there. I'm fortunate that I've got some commercial real estate that pays my bills, so I don't have to go out there and market all the time. And as being an investor, I'm not as much going out there trying to find people as maybe people want to try and find me. I'm not that hard to find. A quick Google search will pull me up, and if anyone really wants me, they can go through you.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds great. Well, PJ, thank you once again, everybody. Movie Money Confidential. You can find out more at moviemoney.com. It's streaming pretty much everywhere right now. And on the website, there are a few limited theatrical screening openings. So definitely check out that movie. You'll see PJ's name.
Look forward.
Go ahead.
I look forward to walking out to my mailbox and picking up checks, Scott.
Hopefully in about 3 to 6 months at the end of the first quarter reporting after our great distributor. We were really lucky to find KDMG, and they've been great to work with so far. So
yep, no better feeling than walking out to your mailbox and finding a check for you as opposed to bills.
Yeah, mailbox money, right? Let's hope for the best really soon. Well, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, PJ, and we'll be in touch.
All right, Scott. Thank you.
Take care.
See you, buddy.
Thanks for listening. And remember, it's time!
There's never been a better time to make your own indie film. And if you have a dream project you're excited about and 100% committed to getting it funded, go to financeyourmovie.com and click on the green telephone button. You'll see our calendar, and if you find an open spot, grab it. You'll get a one-on-one call with me or one of my partners. It will be the best hour you've ever spent getting clarity and strategy towards financing your movie. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week.